What's up, boys? In this video, I'm going to be rating my subscribers' cars. Alright boys, how is it going? Stevie Wonder Kid here, back with another episode of Rate My Ride. This time around we've got some JDM cars to go through, and I am solo for this episode, but once again, as I did with the last episode with Top Secret R35, if you guys do want to collab for another episode of this series, feel free to let me know if you're another content creator and you want to rate some rides with me. But this time around we're riding solo. We got some JDM cars here. We got 20 in total, which is awesome. Really good participation by everybody. We got a bunch of different cars from a bunch of different games that I'm really excited to go through. Now for this episode and for all the other episodes, if you guys do want to join to be a part, then be sure to follow the instructions in the description, because in there it's very simple. All you really need to do is join the Discord, go through the rules and roles and things like that, and then you'll be set to go. So follow those instructions, very simple, and you can also be a part of the next episode. But yeah guys, once again, 20 JDM cars to go through. Let's get right into it. All right, so first off, we have Brave One 2016. He's got an R34 GTR from the Crew 2, Japanese Police Skyline with his buddies RX-7 and Chase. Not much to say here other than it's not gonna escape from the Police Godzilla. I like that. This thing's sick, dude. He always pulls out these really cool police theme builds in the Crew 2. Haven't personally played the Crew 2 myself, but from the builds that he submitted from this, it looks like a pretty fun game in terms of customization. Yeah, he's got some pictures here. I would have preferred to see some up close pictures to the R34 to see what's actually done to it. It's kind of obscured by his buddy's RX-7. The RX-7's clean. Not really sure about the license plate, but everything else about the RX-7 I really like. Maybe those wheels, but again, it's kind of hard to see, so I don't want to pass judgment on that if I can't really see it. But as for the R34, I really do like this. It's a very creative kind of style with the livery. It's very heavily Japanese inspired. I think he made it himself. Yeah, self-made, so it's really cool that he put in the effort to make that livery himself, which is awesome. And then all the other kind of styling bits definitely match up pretty well on an R34 in my opinion, so I'm gonna give this thing a proper 8 out of 10. And yeah, maybe some closer up pictures of your build in specific next time around, but still, from what I can see, a really cool car. Next up, we've got the Smokin's Moon Knight, or R32 sedan in CarX Drift Racing Online. Drift car with an Itasha livery. Some stuff on it is probably inspired by something else you've seen from Japan. Yep, and he just did his own thing with it. And mad respect again. So Smokin puts in a lot of effort to these CarX liveries, which is really cool. Very aggressive livery. He's got all of the aggressive body panels and lips and things like that. And then he's got 3 spoilers. The roof spoiler up top there, and then this massive, not really sure what brand wing this would be. It reminds me of the wing that's on Hurt Eugene's FC RX-7. And then he's also got the little ducktail in the back there as well. I personally would go for maybe a build without such a huge wing, and maybe to closer match that kind of classic Japanese style, maybe just do like maybe a more pronounced ducktail just to keep it simple. But everything else about it, I mean, I really do like this livery. It looks like you put a lot of effort into it with like the blue splatter, almost looks like a blue splash or water or something like that. But yeah, all the stickers definitely fit that 90s aesthetic really well, and the fact that he made it himself too, that definitely took a lot of work. And everything else about it, I'm a pretty big fan of this. I do like it, especially with the toe strap and the big cannon exhaust there too. Yeah, because the thing's so authentic and he put so much work into it, I gotta give this thing a solid 8 out of 10. I really do like it. Thank you. All right, next up we have Maz with the Karen Fudo. Obviously is a GTA 5 mod. He says he originally started it out as a test for making cars right-hand drive, and he made it into its own complete car. Low power fun machine is the goal that he kept in mind for this thing. I absolutely love this like light lavender paint scheme. I think it really sets it off. You know, it's not like over the top or anything, but it really kind of makes it pop in a way that I haven't seen a lot of builds do. In addition to that, I think this is like a custom grille, and I think he also made the bumper himself. At least that's what he did on a previous Elegy build. He kind of models all the stuff himself. And then the steering wheel there, I think I saw a bride seat back there too, so very authentic, the kind of classic, you know, beater drift car in Japan kind of styling there. I love that. Big cannon exhaust too, looks way cleaner than any of the vanilla options that we have. But yeah, this thing is so clean. Closer up shot in the interior there. Easy 10 out of 10. The fact that he does all the work that himself, and it's also very authentic styling wise, easy 10 out of 10. And that lavender paint job is just like the extra little bit that you need to really make this thing pop. I love this thing. So cool. Thank you, Maz. Next up we have Bella, and in BeamNG Drive she made a Maibatsu Penumbra. So out of boredom and having too much free time, must be nice, I ported the Penumbra into BeamNG for fun, and well, here she is stanced. I love this color combo with the clear tails, and the fitment is perfect. Also might make a right hand drive one for fun someday. This thing's so clean. I love this. The fact that she took the time to actually port a car from GTA into BeamNG, that probably must have taken a long time in and of itself. But in addition to that, this deep green paint job, I love that. I love that kind of metallic green. Reminds me of something you'd probably see in GTA too. But then the stance, oh man, these work. I think these are work V's. I'm not quite sure. Not really up on my wheel knowledge, so definitely correct me in the comments. But yeah, the clear tails kind of look like tails that you would just do if you like broke out the taillights in GTA Online, but still very cool, and it is sitting pretty. I don't know, maybe that it's worth like if you can actually modify this thing, like adding some extra body panels and stuff too, that would kind of set it off, kind of make it separate from what it is in GTA, because I don't know, I feel like a lot of people just really commonly overlook that car in GTA, so if there's something to kind of make it unique in Beam, then definitely kind of add on to that. But still, this thing's so cool, and the amount of work required to get it to this point is definitely respectable too, so I'm gonna give this thing a solid 9 out of 10. I really like this. Good job, Bella. Next up, we have Rye Guy, Nissan R32 Skyline with the Pandem wide body kit in Forza Horizon 4. That's really cool, kind of throwback there. The only crazy thing was the wide body, but I tried to keep it simple and clean, and I think he nailed it. I do like the wide body in addition to this, like, I guess creamish white paint job. I'm not really, it's kind of hard to tell with the background and stuff, but it is beautiful. The pictures are just amazing. I don't know, I feel like this is kind of halfway between like going all out with the Pandem kit and also like keeping it like purist and stock, because everything but the wide body kit kind of screams purist, but then there's also the wide body kit. I feel like that's a little confusing. If I had done the Pandem wide body, I kind of just would have gone all out with everything, give it a crazy livery, go for some really, you know, ostentatious wheels or things like that, but kind of wanted to go down that route. I just would have kept the stock body, but still very clean build. I'm gonna give this thing a solid 7 out of 10. Next up, we have Bray, Sultan RS Classic in GTA 5, obviously. Tuner spec stance build, simple and clean with a nice license plate. I agree, it is low AF. This thing's clean. I think this is like a Saxon blue or something. It's kind of hard to tell because it looked like picture's been edited a bit, but nice little windshield banner there, half cage in the back. It's sitting pretty on these BBS mesh style rims, and then the kind of 326 power inspired wing in the back there, and then the skirts and the body kit on the front here with the lip. This thing is sitting very pretty, dude. I like this. Very kind of clean stance build as he goes for, I think he did an RX-7 build that was kind of a similar style, and I love that. This one I also really like. Very simple, clean, and I think he nailed that clean aesthetic, so I'm gonna give this thing a solid 9 out of 10. I really do like this. Alright, next up we have Sal. This is the Subaru Impreza. I think he meant Sultan RS. Sultan RS I think is more Lexus IS 300, but I guess you could also make it look like an Impreza. Obviously in GTA 5, this is the Sultan RS. Bought this car a while ago, been loving it. Made a few builds with it, but this is definitely my favorite so far. This thing's cool, man. I like this. I like this kind of cream tannish paint job. I really like that. He's got some white. I think these are the Wangen Master rims, if I'm remembering correctly. Big tilt on that picture there. I have to like cock my head just to see the car in the right kind of angle. But yeah, I do like all the carbon parts on this. Not really feeling the white on the rims. I really do like the rims themselves, but I think white rims on a build like this kind of screams stance, but then he's also got like all the carbon parts which scream like more like track or like aggressive street car kind of thing. So not really feeling like the mismatch there. If you're going for like a clean stance build, I would probably have just like left the carbon parts off and just done like solid body color maybe, and then maybe kept those wheels, either that, or if you're gonna run carbon, maybe change up the wheels a little bit so there's not a lot of like clash going on with the colors. But everything else, I originally thought that this front bumper was a little off, and that kind of like lip on the front there, I think there's a different bumper that has the same kind of extended kind of vented part down there that you can have, that doesn't have that kind of seam that you can see there. So maybe I'd switch to that front bumper, but everything else I do like about it. It is sitting pretty, and the pictures are really nice too, so I'm gonna give this thing a solid 7 out of 10. Alright, next up we have Shaq, Karen Fudo GTX and GTA 5. Decided to become a victim of the drift tax and bought this overpriced turtle. That is true, the Fudo GTX is like $1 million. This build really isn't based off anything, just a random mess of parts mushed together. And no, he doesn't deliver tofu. Wow, I wouldn't have guessed that, damn. But yeah, fun fact by the way, somebody actually left this in a comment. The Fudo GTX is 77 times the original price of the normal Karen Fudo. just thought I'd throw that out there for reference. But anyway, really nice build here. I love this kind of authentic Karen Rally inspired livery. I love the turbofan rims. I didn't think they'd work on a build like this, but this thing, I do like this. Everything else about this, it is very simple, very clean, kind of low slung with the stance there. So it's like kind of a drift build, but kind of a street stance build, but also it's got like some track inspiration there too. So I love the kind of classic styling with the old style livery and those wheels as well. I really do like that. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much I'd change about this other than maybe adding like a roll cage or something to complement that look a little bit better. But yeah, I think for like a random build as he describes it, I think this fits pretty well. So I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. All right, next up we have Cubbo. Again, from the Crew 2, we're seeing more crew submissions, which is really cool. Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4 No Rules Edition. That's cool. That's probably something exclusive to the Crew 2. He inspired me. Okay, so he inspired Brave One, the guy who submitted the R34 cop car, inspired me to turn to old Crew 2 for a JDM car. This is the most recent JDM car he has, a new special edition of the 3000 GT. Okay, so I was excited when this turned out to be one of the fastest cars in the discipline. The body kit comes preset, but I made this livery with the color and the stripe. Yeah, originally I was gonna say I don't know if I fully feel the body kit on this car, but I guess there's really nothing you can do about it. I do kind of like that big, not whale tail, but like huge kind of all-encompassing spoiler that kind of wraps around the quarter panels. That's really cool, actually. I didn't think I'd like that, but in terms of, you know, it kind of screams 90s styling. This almost looks like a Hot Wheels car to me. But the livery as well, I love this livery actually, kind of like classics inspired stripes, the red there that goes kind of offset, and then the red on the rims, that's a really nice touch, and also the red within the vents there. I really like that, in addition to the gray. So there's a lot of contrast kind of where it matters. It kind of accentuates the car really well. This is a super unique build, man. I like this. Not really a huge fan of the 3000 GT in real life, or the Dodge Stealth, whatever the equivalent is, but I do like this build. In addition, those like, oh man, these look like slicer wheels, almost like Corvette or like old Ford Taurus SHO wheels. I really like those. I don't know, man. I'm a sucker for these quirky like 90s Japanese cars, man. These things are cool. Just for that, I mean, he made the livery himself and everything like that. I'm gonna give this thing a 9 out of 10. I really like this. Yeah, thank you, Cubbo. Next up, we have Splizu. Shout out to him. He's a channel member. Thank you so much, dude. Anyway, another Crew 2 submission, a Nissan 300ZX, a weeb car. Took around 12 hours to make the livery. Oh my god. He did such a good job with this livery. He always puts in so much effort with these liveries, and they always turn out so good. The whole like Itasha aesthetic is not really my thing, but a respect for putting in that much work. Aggressive body kit there, Hot Wheels sticker, I guess, but big like chassis mounted wing with bumper delete, and then some really wide rims too. This is a really aggressive build. I'm not sure if I fully feel the aggressive aesthetic. In addition, like the fitment on the wheels just isn't the best. There's a lot of poke there, and it's not really flush with the fenders. I don't know if that's like an option that you can modify in the Crew 2 or not. Everything else about it almost looks like I don't know, like a cyberpunk kind of build with how aggressive it is, and the red neons and the red accents. So very cool. I don't know. I'm like kind of into it, but also kind of not. Everything, I mean, the livery and stuff is really cool. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not a huge fan of the Nissan 300ZX either, but I'm gonna give this thing a solid 7 out of 10. I do like it, but there are some things that I definitely would change, and the styling's just a little bit out there for me, I think, but still a cool build. All right, next up we have Peugeot enthusiast and a specialist, so the glowing nugget. And then in Need for Speed Heat, he did a Nissan 180SX off-road build. Something different to annoy JDM fanboys. I definitely do agree. I wonder how this thing actually performs in Need for Speed Heat off-road. Is it even worth like doing off-roading in Need for Speed Heat? I haven't played it enough to know, but this thing's cool. I mean, for a 180SX, this is definitely not the route that I'd go, but I do like that he had the courage to do it. It's obvious he's been taking it off-road with the tires and then all the dirt and scratches around the car. I don't know, man. This isn't my cup of tea, and I think for the full off-road aesthetic, I would have taken off the skirts. It did look like he added the skirts there. I would have just left the stock body and jacked up the ride height. I think the ducktail kind of fits, and also the bumper delete too, but maybe get rid of those side skirts, and that's really the only thing I'd change, again, for this off-road style build. Everything else considered, yeah, I think this thing deserves like a 7 out of 10. Again, not my cup of tea, but it's a pretty unique take on the build, and I do like that he kind of went out there with it. So yeah. Next up we have Reverie. Oh man, this thing's pretty. Mazda MX-5 Miata in Assetto Corsa. Something a little neat that I cooked up, a tiny blue car on some tiny wheels. Nice. Car is fitted with an OEM Plus look and some semi-slicks to help compensate for the huge single turbo that this little monster has. This thing's so cool. I love this. I love this blue. I don't know if this was like a manufacturer color, but this blue just hits really different. It's almost like Maz's Karen Fuda. It kind of sets it off. It's just bright enough to give it a little bit of extra pop. And then these wheels wheels. I'm not really sure what these wheels are, but I think they fit that track aesthetic really well. Nice, discreet, kind of low slung track almost, or street inspired build. I really like this thing, dude. And the pictures too, with the kind of winter aesthetic in the background. Happy December, by the way, boys. But yeah, this thing's nice. I love this. Very clean and simple. This would be kind of the build that I would do if I had a Miata Nissan. Of course, I'd probably make it look like this. So because of that, I'm gonna give this thing a 10 out of 10. I love this. This thing is so cool. And even the black stripe, I just noticed that too. That's so cool. Very clean. Definitely worthy of a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. Cool. Next up, we have Gibby, or Bruzy. GTA 5, he's got his Fudo and Fudo GTX. I guess that's him and a buddy. That's cool. And they matched up the liveries. I really do like that. I love this like classic TRD inspired livery. I'm not sure specifically what it's from, but I do like it that he and his buddy kind of made the same wheels. I think these are the Grip Z or the Grup Z rims in GTA. I always love these wheels. And yeah, these things, oh man, these cars are sitting pretty. I think they both have cages and things like that. Carbon hoods. I don't know, not really feeling the carbon hood. I would have just left the stock color, or I just like the stock body color hood on both builds, especially with the Fudo GTX, because it doesn't do the headlight covers either. But everything else about these builds, man, nice like classic rally or track style. I really do like these builds. So I'd say for them together, also maybe if there's an option to color the trim here on the Fudo GTX the same as the rest of the body, I think that would help, and it wouldn't cut up the livery as much. But yeah, I think for both of these builds combined, I guess an average would be a solid 8 out of 10. I really do like the styling here. Good job, guys. Next up, we have Kazaku, Carx Drift Racing. This is the Mifune or Lexus IS, whatever that name is. I'm sorry if I butchered it. Randomly decided to start rocking the Mifune one day, and I wanted a delivery on it, so I went to Google for inspiration, and this is what was the result. A Natasha build with more focus on being hot boyish with all the flames. Nice. And all the cool horsepower adding details. 550 low boost to 650, I guess, horsepower high boost, and overall just feels nice to drive. Nice. Also like to mention that I was too lazy to edit photos, but oh well. No, that's fine. I if anything, I think I like unedited photos more because I can see the finer aspects of the build. This thing's really cool. I love this livery. It really sets it off. I love this like purple with like a pink pearl almost with all the text. It looks a little bit busy with the text. There's like a lot going on there that kind of covers up the Itasha kind of aspect of the livery, but everything else about it, this thing's super cool. I would have personally, for like that classic 90s inspiration, I probably would have run a set of smaller rims if that was possible. These look a little bit more modern and like something that would go on, I think, a more higher end kind of build, but I guess they still work. They kind of do look pretty clean on this, but everything else about it, oh man, I love this. The wide body kit there, and then the big exposed intercooler up front. I think this is like an OEM style bumper too. That's cool. I don't know. I feel like for that full drift look, I would have added maybe like a ducktail or maybe a more aggressive rear bumper, but everything else about it, I mean, especially this livery, this thing's so cool. And the fact that he made it himself is an awesome detail too. So yeah, I think for this build, I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10. I think it definitely deserves an 8 out of 10. Next up, we have ZexQ, BeamNG Drive, nice, and Ibishu JBX100. I guess this mainly inspiration from a JZX. Built this car as a street drifter and a car to cruise around in. It has a hot boy feel, so I ended up putting blast pipes on it. Damn, dude, I like this. Again, nice. I get, yeah, definitely JZX inspired build there. I like this like almost being inspired front bumper, and then Need for Speed Underground 2 on the, I think that's what it says. Yeah, Need for Speed Underground 2 on the license plate. Like that. Like the clear taillights, like the little charm there with the tow hook. This thing's nice. Yeah, I mean, and he drifts it too. Respect for drifting it in BeamNG, by the way. I like this build. I would have done maybe some lower side skirts to match up with the front bumper and the rear bumper a bit better. They kind of jut out a little bit too far, and they're also like a different color. So if there's an option to change the side skirts, I would have done that. Maybe would have gone for something a little bit brighter color wise. It looks like a very drab kind of gray almost, but everything else about it I'm a big fan of. So I'm gonna give this thing a solid 8 out of 10. So yeah, mad respect for especially drifting this thing in BeamNG, dude. All right, next up we have Zell Stance, Karen Intruder in GTA 5. So this is his chance to show off another one of my drift missiles. Respect, because I know the Intruder is a little bit underpowered, but still a decent drift car. Oh yeah, it's a bit underpowered and it's a bit disappointing, but still a pretty good looking car, and it's decent at drifting. Pretty much what I said. I didn't read that all the way through. But yeah, this thing is very true to that missile style. He's got the yanked in plate, love that. I hate that you can't mess with the wheel fitment, because like the wheel fitment here, if you could have adjusted that a little bit in GTA, oh man, that would look so much better. But I do like this color. I mean, moving on to other aspects of the build besides the stance, which I know is something he can't change, I do like this yellow. It's like just enough to kind of give it a pop, kind of like we saw with Maz's Fudo way back earlier on in this video. But yeah, I do like this yellow. Almost looks like a mustard almost. But yeah, definitely fits that drift missile styling with the broken windows. He took off the hood hood, and he got the front bumper hanging off there too. Yeah, man, this thing's sick. This reminds me a lot of ZXQ's JBX, I think is what it's called, that we just saw. Love that. This thing's really cool. For a build like this, I think he nailed the aesthetics, got some pretty pictures to match it up. But yeah, I think for an intruder build, I either would have done like a VIP build, or I would have gone like full Ebisu drift missile like the way Zell did with this one. So yeah, because of that, I love the styling, I love the color. I'm gonna give this thing a 9 out of 10. I just wish Rockstar would add some more customization to this thing. I hope they do, because the day that I'm recording this, actually, Rockstar did drop a newswire talking about the update that's going to be coming to GTA 5 in December. So hopefully they'll add some updated customization. Maybe the intruder is a candidate for that, I don't know, but still, like this build, definitely worthy of a 9 out of 10 in my opinion. Next up, Yeet Boy. He's got the Karen Fudo, I guess it means GTX in GTA 5. He kept the car stock except the engine bay and cosmetic. It drifts nicely stock, just wheel spins a lot. Extra, very convenient Fudo in the back. Nice. He's got his little buddy back there. This thing's cool. I like this like all black styling, definitely very clean. I like that he did the kind of classic text that was on the original Fudo, like the yellow text there. Love that little blast pipe exhaust and the body styling, very clean. And he's obviously putting it to good use by drifting it too. Really not much to say about this thing. It's very simple and clean. I think these are in the street category. I do like these rims kind of a little bit smaller, so I think they fit that kind of aesthetic with the Fudo. I also like that he did the black and yellow plate to kind of match up with the black and yellow theme on the rest of the car. There's not really much I changed to this. Yeah, I think it's very discreet and clean, and he's putting it to good use with drifting, so I have no complaints. I'm gonna give this thing a solid 8 out of 10. Good job. Alright, next up we have Envy Kuro, very talented drifter in GTA, by the way. Check out his stuff. Karen Sultan RS, this is one of his go-to drift cars to just have fun with. True, this is one of the best all-wheel drive drift cars in the game. It has some decent power and very low grip when it's on low grips. Simple drift track day build. He matched the color with the livery, so it only has the numbers. I love that, dude. I love that he did. Oh man, that looks so clean as well with just that. It almost reminds me of like a Honda inspired build almost, with like the yellow there. That's like the classic like Honda yellow that you'd see on like a Civic Type R and Integra Type R almost, and especially with that livery too, it kind of makes it look even more like a Honda, even with the white wheels too. It's still a very, very clean build. I love the kind of OEM styling. He didn't really change much about it, because I mean the Karen Sultan RS is already a really good looking car, and you don't have to do a lot to make it look that much better, and I think he nailed that. I might do a slightly different rear bumper. Never personally been a fan of this like big diffuser that cuts so far up into the bumper, but everything else about this, man, I do really, really like this. So yeah, definitely gonna give this thing, I'm gonna give this a 10 out of 10. I really do like this build, except for that rear bumper. Everything else I love about it, and the fact that he puts it to good use drifting just adds to that even more, and very unique again choice with the livery too. So yeah, good job Kuro, definitely worthy of a 10 out of 10 in my book. And then we have Sinky. Shout out to him. It's been a while since he's made a submission, but he's always got some clean cars. Think a Kanjo SJ, just some OEM plus goodness. Love this. Got a nice motion blur edit there. He's got the Yankton plate with the spaces that makes it look like a Japanese plate. This thing's so clean, dude. I love this blue. I love the white in the interior, the BBS wheels. It's not too out there, but it's just enough extra to be like, huh, like he did that. You know, like it's got the blue, which kind of pops and gives it a little bit of extra, you know, kind of spice, something extra to look at. And then you look even closer. I really do like that interior too. Kind of something that's I wouldn't think to do, but now that I see it, it looks really, really good. So yeah, this thing's super unique. I think this is the only Kanjo SJ that we've gotten in this round of submissions too. So yeah, definitely a 10 out of 10 for this one. Sinky always slays it. Good job, dude. Picture beautiful, car is beautiful. Keep it up, dude. And then last but not least, we have PokePlayer45. Shout out to this guy too. He's very active in the GTA 5 drifting community. But yeah, he's actually in CarX this time around with a Mazda Miata. Just his Drift Miata big turbo SR swap. That's kind of cool. Makes just over 600 horsepower. Wants something that he'd drive and build IRL. Respect for making a 600 horsepower Miata, because I can imagine that's pretty hard to drive. And it kind of makes sense because he's got like these look like really big tires, like really wide tires, almost like a drag build with the exposed roll cage there. I don't know, there's a lot going on with this build, but if he's able to drift it well, I mean, I know CarX physics are more arcadey than most, but would have liked to see some close-up pictures. I like seeing this thing in action, but I would like to see some of the finer details, because it kind of just does look like a stock body Miata. Can't really see the wheels, can't really see anything else about it, and it looks fairly stock, to be honest, besides the sleepy eyes. So I think everything considered, I'm gonna give this thing probably a 7 out of 10. For what it is, I do like this thing. Yeah, boys, that's really about it for this round of submissions, I'd say for my overall favorite, oh man, it's so hard. There's so many clean ones. Reveries was really good. There were a lot of really unique Crew 2 submissions too. My favorite, it's gotta be Maz's. Just this Fudo build is just so cool. He put in so much work into it. I love that lavender, very, very unique. This has to be my favorite of all of them, but we still did get some really awesome builds this time around, which I'm super hyped about, and I hope that you guys enjoyed them too. Definitely let me know what you guys thought of these builds down below. But yeah, man, this thing, it's so clean, it's so pretty, and that color hits just right. Would love to see what this thing looks like with a more aggressive kit and maybe like a color match bumper too. But yeah, everything else considered, guys, that's gonna be about it for this episode of Rate My Ride. Please let me know if you guys like the format of this episode, because it's a bit longer than normal, and also give any suggestions, or if you want to collab for a future episode, then definitely let me know in the comments. And also, again, join the Discord server if you want to, so that way you can be a part of a future episode. But with that, boys, that's really about it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Rate My Ride, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.